Good evening.
Hello, everyone. How are we? My name is Alistair, and 8 feet to my right, and also, one day I'll point in the right way. That way.
It's okay. You'll figure it out.
That way is the amazing Marguerite, who
Good
is
evening.
also Marguerite in the box.
Hail the board.
Hail the board.
Hail
and
the
also,
board.
damn right.
I love how you're so tall you have to stand up to put the logo on your t-shirt onto the stream.
Hashtag Manxwookie.
Hashtag Manxwookie. Absolutely. Hey, how's everybody doing tonight?
Are we good?
We're good? Everybody good? Fan art. Let's remind everybody what our
Yes,
lovely piece
this
of
is
fan
from
art
the
is
amazing
tonight.
Transagent Carolina, and it is Peter Lucas, surrounded by the thing he loves best, not Elias. and also the other thing he loves best, fog.
Yeah.
Yes. So, welcome everybody. I know there's a whole cross-section of folks here. We've got some folks in the Isle of Man. We have some people from York. We have people from America. We have people from Reading and occasionally Nottingham and sometimes Switzerland too. You are all incredibly welcome. And also I'm sure we have some new folks here, including people who've come in via Pseudopod and Magnus Archives. For all of you, those of you who have been here know how we could do this. For the new ones, this is really a show of 3 acts. We do an
I feel
open...
like I need like a little graphic, which is ding!
Just ding!
Ding!
First off, we have an opening monologue, which this
Ding!
week, as it so often is
play
provided by the amazing Frog Croakley, multi-talented writer-man, journalist, opinion haver, and all-around just thoroughly good egg.
Occasionally Roman ghost.
Occasionally Roman ghost. He spends a couple of days dead a year. Aquarium enthusiast.
We really ought to get him back on the show again.
Occasional
honestly.
child wrestler. His own child, it's fine. Whole thing. Then we will check in with us and see how we're doing.
Ding!
Ding!
I'm sorry. I've got a bit now. I'm going to run with it.
Now you understand why Cardinal Fang always makes me laugh.
You okay?
I'm just waiting for Chad to pick it up.
Yeah. We got a little bit of a delay going on. A little bit more than usual.
There we go. Thank you,
we go.
Wendy.
Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you, Chanel. Right.
All right. There goes the
And then
show.
we will dive into 9 Goblins. We have one more week to go after this.
Yeah.
So we're
This
doing
is-
chapters 18 and 19.
You're not going to say penultimate?
I got told off for saying anti-penultimate last week. Am I allowed penultimate?
I think I will...
As a treat.
Will we allow it, chat? I think we will allow penultimate. Exactly. Look at all the Cardinal Fang going on.
Thank you.
Oh, exactly.
Um,
Yes. Ocean says you may.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ocean.
You're on thin ice, Alistair.
Thin ice.
Where I live, compost. Where I live.
Oh, my.
And then,
it is a perfectly cromulent word, Wendy. I agree completely. Thank you so much,
Thank you so
Forats.
much, Forats. Also, hi, Forats. How you doing? And then we will round off with some shenanigans. You know
we
how...
have just a heads up. So tonight's 2 chapters are a lot.
Yes.
As you might have been able to tell from last week, they end on a bit of a kind of moment. So please do heed the content warnings when we get there. And so we have planned. Well, Ducky, our amazing producer, has planned an extra lengthy, extra fun shenanigan for this evening to make sure that we don't have any, that we don't go to bed on a bad note, that we have some brain sorbet to round out the evening.
Also, we need to remind everybody about the change in stream show notes that they come out through the EA account now.
Exactly. So,
Totes
but,
profesh.
I've programmed in a gazillion tweets to remind you about that. But, yep, if you follow EA Podcasts on Twitter, you will get the stream show notes after we wrap up for the evening.
Now, before we go any further, there's a vital member of the team, an integral part, the lubricant, you could say.
Oh, really? That was a very bad choice of word.
Who is over a year old?
I know.
Our yeasty son.
Our yeasty boy.
Our yeasty boy.
He's a whole year old. His birthday was this week. It was very sweet.
Such a little twooper.
Yes. Thank you very much, Zalia. And yes, please know the boy as lubricant. God, The AO3 tag just sprung into being, didn't it?
See, in my defense, I read very fucked up British science fiction comics as a kid, which included a story about a very handsome war robot who's horribly mutilated and broken down into sludge, and then becomes the lubricant for a colossal war tank he's in love with, because he flows into its system and keeps it moving.
Now, we don't have time to unpack all that! Wow!
Also, grew up in an island whose 3 hobbies included not pillaging anything, taking in Spanish Armada victims, participants, willful participants, and rampant homophobia. So, I had a lot of crossed wires as a kid. Chungus doesn't have a character tag in AO3 yet.
Really? Okay, I task y'all.
That sounds like a hell of a first birthday present.
That would be an amazing first birthday present. Write us Chungus fanfic and we will read it on the stream.
We could do a Chungus special.
A Chungus special.
We could do Chungus Palooza.
Chungus Palooza?
Chungus Dog.
Oh god, just stop. That's even worse. I can hear you trying to think of a third one right now.
The Bake Tour?
No, come on.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Fantastic. Thank you all. So yeah, without further ado,
It's going to be a long night, folks. Here we go with the opening monologue, shall we?
Oh, Zalia, we're coming in with the win. Glastonbury.
Oh, excellent. Oh, please do sourdough.
Don't. Oh!
Turn into puns.
Oh, we are amongst our people this evening. Thank you.
I need graphics that I can start putting up that are like, pun alerts and stuff. Because if I can't have emojis, I will have alerts.
We were playing Among Us last night, and I could not stop seeing Chungus as a little pet.
I know. I need a little Chungus pet in Among Us so very, very badly.
Anyway, and now, from the brain of the wonderful Mr. Frog Croakley. Oh, the Edinburgh Fringe. Zalia's on fire. Zalia's on fire tonight. E3 would be so much easier to process if every game was named as honestly as Wizard with a Gun. I've not yet watched the trailer for Wizard with a Gun, announced during last night's Devolver Digital stream at E3, but I will bet you my entire house can tell you what's in it. If I guess wrong, I will email you my house. If I guess right, you have to read the rest of this post. Deal? Sorry, too slow. Reading the word deal counted as agreeing to the deal, I'm afraid. Be quiet, lawyer. So let's play. I'm guessing the trailer will...
We're off to a rollicking start, I see.
You can do law things.
Oh no,
no, I don't want to.
Sorry. I'm so sorry you're having a difficult wisdom tooth. Yes, please go take care of yourself. The VOD will be there for you, and we will see you next time. I hope you feel better soon.
Oh, Docella, that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to do coach, anyway.
I'm guessing...
The moment is past!
I'm guessing the trailer will feature a wizard who possesses a gun. Here's the trailer. Let's see if I'm correct, or if I have ruined my family's life by promising to email their house to loads of strangers.
I want to understand his thought process that led to emailing my house, because now I'm just seeing
You just attach it. I mean, it's bigger than 25 megs, so it'd be a Google file.
You know how they push around the houses at night when you rearrange them? I'm just imagining them trying to push Nick's house through a giant internet cable.
It's like buildings have feelings too. The house would just run down the street.
Yeah.
Anyway. Phew, I was sweating for a bit there. Since the trailer's first 30 seconds depicted a trio of wizards, but all conspicuously unarmed and in various states of peril. One even had a gun pointed at them, but then schlink outslid the bloody Glock, didn't it? And from there it was bullets all the way home. Yes, I know, the most accurate title for the game would have been Wizards with Guns. Well done, you. But alas, I have just phoned my lawyer, who also has a gun, I should warn you, and she says my home is safe.
Not me. Not me.
Are you sure?
I didn't do it. Totally didn't do it. You can't prove anything.
Anyway, the point is, I will never forget the name of Wizard with a Gun. In months to come, when wondering about how work's coming along on all the games announced this summer, I won't be saying, "Oh, that one with the gun wizards. What was it called again?" Before googling "Gun Wizard Devolver Gam" and being informed it was called Musket Mages of Blasteronia or Deal of the Bloodlords. Nope, I shall be saying, "Lol, how good a name is Wizard with a Gun."
Blasteronia.
Blasteronia.
Blasteronia. Like, oh my god, can we go to Blasteronia?
It's next to Pizza Explosion.
Pizza Explosion. Anyway.
I dread to think how many hours I could have saved over the years if only all developers were so forthright in slapping the game name Savaloy on the chip shop counter. How calm and orderly my mental map of PC gaming might be if its contents were so self-explanatory. Certainly the summer announce season, with its week-long bombardment of reveals, would be drastically easy to keep track of if every developer was forced to title games with the bluntest possible summary of their contents. This next paragraph fucked me up at range. Be ready. Rainbow Six Extraction, for example, a game whose name I literally just had to check because I couldn't remember what ominous noun had replaced quarantine in its original title, would now be called Very Competent Soldiers Killing Slime Men. Sorry, my bad. Tom Clancy's Very Competent Soldiers Killing Slime Men.
I absolutely love that Tom Clancy somehow remains. It's just, whew, good on that guy.
Jurassic World Evolution 2, which I always have to retype from Jurassic Park Evolution, because the words Jurassic Park were tattooed on my brain when I was 9 years old. Damn right, would be going out the window too. Parks, after all, cannot undergo the process of biological evolution. It would now be called Keep the Dinosaurs Inside the Fences for the second time.
You fool! In the kitchen,
In the kitchen, Phil! You know exactly what you'd be getting with that one, eh? Watch Dogs Legion's Bloodline DLC would need a lot of work, unless the DLC just happens to feature an eerie omnipresent filament of gore, i.e. an actual bloodline left behind your character like a snail trail. Going by the plot description, it sounds like it's looking for a lot of robots. And obviously, since there isn't a single dog in the game, let alone any Romans, the basic Watch Dogs Legion moniker would have to go too. The whole package, I suggest, could be renamed Computer Cockneys Look for a Load of Robots. And let's face it, that's just a much better name. It explains the plot of the game. There's not a colon in sight, and it's got human appeal. Who wouldn't want to step into the big bin man shoes of a computer cockney? So come on, Ubisoft. It's not too late to do the right thing. Make all of our lives a little easier and give us the computer cockneys. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Oi!
Oh my gosh. Nate, one of these days we must hang out till late in the night / early in the morning, sipping whiskey and blathering. Oh my, oh very my.
Every single episode of Pseudopod I have hosted to date, without fail, every single one, I listen to Bloodletting and the Naked Kiss by Anders Manga, our theme tune. It gets to the end and my brain, because it is my brain, tags Bill Bailey going da-da-da-da-da-da, hey, on the end of it.
Yes, but when you sing it in the office, you do the Cartman, you guys. I like the lonely bed.
And
You guys.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun in our shared office.
Yes, also Kanye West's Gold Digger is by far the best Eric Cartman song ever produced. The secret is you don't do Yeezy's vocal line. You do... What?
I'm hiding from this conversation.
You actually do Jamie Foxx's line as Cartman. I dare you. I double dog dare you. Pull up the video for that now. Listen to the first line and try not to hear it as she takes my money. You guys. Yes. Oh, also real quick and on a semi-related note, if you haven't heard Dr. Key by Bill Bailey, please listen to it.
Oh, let me dig that up.
I loved the Peter Capaldi era of Doctor Who very, very much. I like Doctor Who a lot in general. I love the Jodie Whittaker run as well. But Capaldi's weirdly craggy, just kind of fucking annoyed about everything, and he can't quite articulate why thing is just very, very endearing to me. And my one regret, my single regret, is that at no point did he go into a bar in pre-war Paris or something, and Bill Bailey was belting out Dr. Key. That would have made me very happy.
I know. For anybody who doesn't know what Dr. Key is, go and watch that video. It's delightful. But take the Doctor Who theme song and turn it into Belgian jazz.
Yes.
And Bill Bailey makes that work.
Yes.
It's hilarious.
Ocean, you're absolutely right. And I mean, I have just finished a book about something else I like a lot in general, which I still can't talk about.
Tease.
But I did enjoy it, and apparently I only have 2 days of edits to do, so... Yes!
Excellent.
Get in.
Excellent.
Martin, what's a South Park? Why are you only telling me to watch the first 25 seasons? Martin, the DVD player's broken. Could you rewind the tape? I wrote some TikToks this week. I'll just leave it there. How are we doing?
We just haven't had time to do anything. Anything at all. It's the end of the quarter for me, so work is extremely busy, and I support people both 6 hours ahead, 5.5 hours ahead of me, and 6 hours behind me. So my work days become lengthy during this period of time. Be kind, Martin. Rewind. You need to do that one.
Be kind, Martin. Rewind.
There we go. Peter would have the sticker like stuck on his wall. On his
No, Peter. Betamax has always been the dominant format.
That was evil. That's getting clipped. Okay. Yes, you're right, Compost Weech. That is too many hours. So my brain has been lightly sizzling and smoking for about a week and a half, and I've got 1 week to go till the end of the quarter, and then hopefully, I don't, Shiny, I don't, because I'm okay.
I'm a lovely man, and I say bad things. It's very close to what you said, though.
There's this concept called bedtime revenge, and it's the idea that if you are a person who struggles with control during your day, you will resist going to bed at night as late as possible because that's the only control that you have over your day. That combined with my favorite fanfic that's ongoing, updating regularly, and the author saying that they took one of my comments and turned it into one of my favorite chapters, which really made me happy, has meant that I'm staying up way too late reading fanfic when I have to be up way too early to work for way too long.
Yes.
So, both ends and a wick in the middle is what's going on. But hopefully another week, and we will...
Meanwhile, I worked so hard getting this book in, I made myself ill.
Yes, you did. You booked so hard, you made yourself sick.
Yeah, I sprained my book.
You sprained your book.
But I'm mostly better now. So I am back on the newsletter, and... Oh, crap, I need to do an end cap for the podcast.
Oh,
okay,
dear.
cool. I can do that. It's not out for a
It's only
couple of
Wednesday.
days.
You're good.
Yeah. And then I have some book prize stuff to do, which is read books and have ideas about them. And then hopefully there's some paid role-playing work to do, which would be great. Yeah. I also discovered indirectly today that the official Transformers tabletop role-playing game is a thing. I encountered a couple of people who are writing on it, and I'm just putting this out into the universe. I would like to do that.
You want to write for the... What? Wait, the Transformers?
The official Transformers one.
That might need to happen.
Give me ThumbQuest or Beast Machines and just watch me go.
I want Beast Wars so bad. When Beast Wars first came out, I was very hardcore into Champions with all my friends, and we built an entire Beast Wars team, which was like an aquatic version. It was like a water-based world. So you had all the good maximal... it was called the Aquabots and the Hydrocons. Thank you. It's a very good title. And so, like, all the good animals got to be the Aquabot. So there was, like, a whale, and there was a girl, and the girl had to be the dolphin, and, and a seal, and a polar bear, and all that. And then, like, the hydrocons were all of the bad things. So there was like a megalodon shark and an octopus and all of that stuff. It was really cool. That was very fun.
Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that, Eldritch. Yeah, Transformers TTRPG, which I'm really looking forward to. It will do that thing which
I know. It should hurt you in the marine biology. What can I say, man? 80s Sunbow cartoon logic is a very defined thing. If you are a good guy, you have to have feet made out of buckets. That's how it rolls. It's not I didn't write the rules. Unless you're a girl, then you can have slender calves. But if you're a good guy, you had to have bucket feet. That's how the toy worked. Okay.
Do you want to put my jet fighter on camera? He is right there.
No.
Okay.
Alright, fine. Don't ask me to like make him transform or anything. You can explain what this is?
Just hold him up. It's fine. You don't have to transform him. Don't ask me to.
But I'm gonna make the noise. There we go.
This was my congratulations. You finished your book present. His name is Maverick, and he's the living embodiment of postmodernism. He's a glitch. He shouldn't exist. He is Maverick's F-14 from Top Gun as a transformer.
Nerd. He comes with a volleyball.
And a motorbike. Yes.
Does he? Really?
Yes.
Where's the motorbike?
It's a really tiny motorbike. It's in the top drawer of my desk.
Okay. Nerd.
Yeah. Totally.
Totes.
So yeah, we're both tired and punchy and overextended, really.
Exactly.
It's
hey,
Wednesday.
Martin, how you doing? Yes, that was a transformer. That was in fact Alistair's Top Gun transformer that came with a volleyball and a motorbike.
Oh god, I forgot Titanic Bot.
Titanic Bot?
Titanic Bot was an actual thing. Yes.
Really?
Stop and think for a second.
Wait, the ship that sank was a
It was a bootleg transformer.
That sucked.
Yeah.
You know, that was one of my favorite concepts. It's like, okay, what happens to the people inside the transformer when the transformation happens? That sounds squishy.
Kevin Smith actually addressed this in the Clerks animated series.
With like a Witwicky dripping out of Bumblebee or something?
Yes, literally. There is an episode where several characters have to get to City Hall.
Sorry, I have to.
to stop Lionel.
Wish.com transformer.
I beg pardon. Leonardo, voiced by Alec Baldwin, the Lex Luthor of New Jersey, from taking over the state. And Prime transforms as they arrive, and there's this screaming, and blood runs down the windows on his chest, and he just goes, "Oh, not again," and walks off shot.
We don't have time to unpack all that. Ooh, wow.
Wish.com transformers. What is it? It's a rock. What does it turn into? A rock.
Oh.
$10.
C4, pay up. Anyway.
Whilst we're on the subject of robots in disguise, real quick, amazingly, the seventh movie in the franchise might be good, given that it stars Anthony Ramos from In the Heights. There's clearly the restraining order for Mark Wahlberg has gone through because he will not be in attendance, and they're doing Maximals and Predacons, but not my little ratty buddy.
I just want Silverbolt. Please give me Silverbolt. Please, they're not. They're gonna give me freaking Cheetor.
Cheetor and Rhinox, apparently.
I love Rhinox. That's legit. But Cheetor is like the anime
Cheetor is like Hot Rod.
Yes, Cheetor is Hot Rod.
But without the charisma. And if you're going, but Hot Rod doesn't have charisma, I'm going, yes.
Rhinox is awesome, though. Rhinox is awesome. But, man, I wanted Silverbolt.
Silverbolt, Black Arachnia. Black Arachnia being summoned to life over the prehistoric volcano. And the evil Predacon scientist creating her screaming, "Live!" as she's struck by lightning. I love that.
Also on the subject of robots in disguise is such a little, EA pod stream sentence. Yes,
You're like,
yes.
sure, okay.
True story. They took the designer of Black Arachnia to a strip club and wouldn't let him leave till he came up with a design, which is why she looks like that.
That made for some very confusing transformation sequences, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Anyway, shall we move swiftly on?
Yeah, I think we should. I think We should.
All right. Are we ready for the story, everybody? Everybody ready?
Let's do content warnings.
All right. Let's remind everybody. We'll do a quick recap. And then
Previously on 9 Goblins.
Dong dong. We'll put the content warnings up in the chat. The content warnings for this week, please do pay attention. This is next week is the last chunk.
Penultimate.
Thank you. So this is the big chunky climax of the story. The content warnings, please heed them, okay? We have content warnings for horror themes, mental health and trauma, sociopolitical themes, and violence. There's full content warnings and a much more detailed breakdown available at that link if you need to go and take a look. In addition, if you need to step out and would like someone to ping you when we've passed the difficult parts or when we go to break, just let the mods know and we'll take care of that for you.
Yeah, exactly. Bye, 4rats. Thanks for...
Have a good night, 4rats.
For popping by. Also, accents. Also, Wendy, there are about to be several new lines added to the list.
Yeah. That's the other thing I might add. That we have a dramatis personae if you need a recap on the characters. And now, how about the recap of the story so far?
Previously on 9 Goblins,
Bum,
a
bum.
group of cheerfully incompetent but surprisingly good at not being dead goblin soldiers engaged a human sorcerer in what is the latest battle in an increasingly disastrous war as the humans sweep across the continent and basically wipe the goblins out. The sorcerer, because sorcerers in this world have mental health issues and panic very, very easily as well.
Magic basically erodes people's cognitive function in unique ways.
Not unreasonably, ripped a hole in reality to escape from the about half-ton of angry gobbo pounding towards them. That went really well. Not closing the hole in reality before the goblins hit him went much less well. So they arrived 50 miles away with an unconscious wizard in the middle of a beautiful, and they realised over time, very quiet forest. Meanwhile, Henry Cavill, who's playing an elf called Sings to Trees, who is basically a vet, is tending to various magical creatures nearby. He is a little shabby, a little scruffy. Animals love him, and also sometimes other elves talk to him.
And so does half the chat, just saying.
Yes. And the two groups eventually meet, and to everybody's vast relief, instead of going, "Ah!" Sings the Trees goes, "Oh, you probably need a hand." So they all slowly bond, and this is the point where they realise the forest is very quiet, and the magical creatures that Sings the Trees looks after are disturbed, so they go and take a look. And they begin to hear a conversation, perpetually on the edge of their hearing, which they can just get a little closer to, they can make out. And it forces them to run and get faster and faster and faster. And Sings the Trees is just about able to resist it. And a situation arises where they are rescued by the skeletal deer that Sings the Trees assisted the doe of earlier in the book. He returns to the farm with an injured member of the party to warn the other goblins. And Nasilka and Murray proceed into the village to where the talking is coming from to find out what was going on. Along the way, they find a colossal amount of dead people and animals, including children, and they're just stacked, and they're all drawn towards the church at the centre of town. And we left things last week with Nasilka discovering that there is a single little girl making pancakes in the church.
Hold on just a second. Alrighty.
There we are. And that now the little girl and Nasilka have seen each other. Chapter 18. "You're a goblin," said the human girl, sounding strangely aggrieved, as if she had been expecting someone else. "Goblin," said Nasilka. "Yeah, absolutely. Born and bred. You can tell by the feet, right?" She held up a foot. This was not strictly necessary, as any idiot could have identified Nasilka as a goblin at 100 paces. But while the girl was looking at her foot, she was not looking at Murray, who had damn well better be hunkering down behind a pew and pretending to be a prayer book. "It wasn't supposed to be goblins," said the girl. "Oh, sorry," said Nasilka. Nasilka was not going to go for her club. It would probably be sensible to go for her club. And she knew this human was going to be bad news. Innocent bystanders did not make pancakes while surrounded by the piled dead. But it was surprisingly hard to hit a kid who wasn't doing anything but staring at you. Even a human kid. I'm going to regret this later, thought Nasilka. I know I am, but I'm still not going for my club. What am I? I am stupid. Why am I not going for my club? So, are you here all alone? She asked. Oh, yes, said the girl, a faint tremor in her voice. The wizard came and it was horrible. All those people. She put her face in her hands and her hair fell down over it in a perfect picture of misery. One that Nasilka did not buy for a second. She supposed it was possible that it was just because humans were their enemy, but all her sergeanting instincts told her there was a little too much practice in that delivery. If a new recruit had come to her with that kind of theatrics, she'd have knocked him down and had Thumper sit on him until he told the truth. I'm an orphan, sobbed the girl. So am I, said Nasilka. We could bond if you like. Somehow she didn't think the little girl was going to take her up on the offer. The wizard said these words. Wizard, huh? She folded her arms and leaned against the back of the pew. She was pretty sure the girl was watching from behind her hands in that curtain of hair. Where'd he go? It was so awful. He said these words, and all those people. Yeah, said Nasilka. Yeah, you said that bit already. She caught a glimpse of Murray peeking out behind the pew and gave him a death glare. He had the grace to look ashamed, mouthed, Sorry, Sarge, and pulled back out of sight. He left, said the girl, sniffling. And then everybody was dead, and my brother was gone, and I was all alone. He overlooked you, then? Nasilka began wandering down the aisle towards the altar, anything to get her eyes away from Murray. Maybe he'd be able to slip out the door, not that she could trust him to do anything so sensible. I think so. The girl took her hands away from her face. Please, you must save me. Take me away from here before he returns. The door's open, said Nasilka. Why didn't you just leave and go for help? Leave? This clearly took her by surprise. Didn't rehearse that part of your speech, did you? Well, I'm just saying, it seems a bit weird to stay here and make breakfast while you wait for this wizard of yours to come back. The girl's eyes narrowed. You're not very nice, she said. It's been horrible, and I'm the sole survivor, said Murray, who had never in his life been able to resist correcting someone's grammar. Nasilka winced and wondered when he'd taken out the useless earplugs. Murray coughed apologetically and stood up. And you're actually not, he said. There's at least one old guy in a little house on the edge of town who could probably pull through with a bit of water and some tending. What? This information somehow did not seem to gratify the human at all. Old man Houghton. How? Her face smoothed out, and she said in a much different tone, Oh, that's wonderful, of course. Nasilka and Murray glanced at each other. You don't know. It's been horrible, said the girl and burst into furious tears. Are all human civilians this wet? Nasilka didn't much like humans to begin with, what with the whole taking her homeland bit, and lately the always trying to kill her bit. But she'd give the human soldiers this. They didn't cry at you. Not until you cut the legs off, anyway, and that didn't count. Sarge, said Murray. The human sobbed. Yeah, there. Yeah, you've suffered so terribly. Excuse us a minute, said Nasilka, grabbing Murray by the arm. She yanked him back towards the door and hissed in furious glibber, Are you out of your mind? I think she's the one who did it, Sarge. Well, obviously. And I want to bust you back down to private for disobeying orders. But, Sarge, I think you're not going to work, said the girl in a clear, carrying voice without a trace of a sob. Nasilka wheeled around and found that the girl was between them and the door. Her hand dropped instinctively to the haft of her club. "You're not supposed to be here," said the girl. "You were supposed to be elves. The elves were supposed to come and take me away to find John, and you're just going to ruin everything." The human's eyes were very, very bright. Crazy light, thought Nasilka. Sane people's eyes don't look like that unless they're dying. "Let's not do anything rash," said Murray, spreading his hands. "We can talk about this." 10 steps, thought Nasilka. Over the back of the pew, 10 steps, club her in the head. "You won't work at all," said the girl. "And if old man Houghton's still kicking around. What a mess." She sounded annoyed, but her crazy light eyes gleamed, and Nasilka knew that she was probably already too late. The sergeant lunged. She got over the back of the pew and 2 steps further, and that was all. The girl opened her mouth and tilted her head back, and a sound came out. It was that maddening half-heard conversation sound, but louder and more painful and closer. The words cut right through the centre of Nasilka's head like the teeth of a bone saw. The human's lips were hardly moving, but her throat was vibrating strangely, and great gibbering gods, Nasilka wanted to go towards it. It was important that she go towards it, but it hurt. It felt like the two halves of her skull were grating together, and the girl was backing away from them, but she had to get closer. So perhaps if she could just hear what the voice was saying, the horrible grating in her head would stop, because if it didn't stop, the bones in Nasilka's ears were going to shatter, and she was going to go deaf. And why was she moving so slowly? Because the girl was backing out the door, but her feet seemed to stick to the floor, and Murray was moaning. She wanted to smack him because the moaning was making it harder to make out the words. And oh gods, why hadn't she used a club when she had the chance? And then Blanchett brought his club down on the back of the girl's head. The sound cut off instantly. There was a thump as the human wizard, and she could not have been anything else, folded up and hit the ground. And Nasilka heard herself cry out in anguish and relief. So did Murray. She staggered to the door and looked out. The one-eyed teddy bear bobbed atop the helmet. "Sorry, Sarge," said Blanchett, "but he said you needed some help." "Oh, God. Oh, tell him he's promoted," rasped Nasilka. "I'll get him some stripes." "He'd like that, Sarge." Murray looked down at the crumpled human and nudged her with one flat foot. The human groaned. "You didn't kill her?" he said. "Was I supposed to? Might have made things easier. What are we going to do now, Sarge?" Nasilka looked at the unconscious wizard, looked at the pile of bodies, looked up at Murray, and was spared any kind of decision, because at that moment the Rangers arrived. Chapter 19. There is a game that most civilized creatures play in times of great turmoil, which might best be called How Boned Are We? Nasilka and Murray were playing it now. "We're boned," said Murray. "Yeah," said Nasilka. "They're going to think we did all of it. Seems to trees will set him straight. If they think to ask him, that's true. And there's no chance they'll believe the kid did it. Don't look like it, no. So we're boned." "Yep." Blanchett was sitting this one out, since the elves had taken their weapons, and his fanged orc helmet seemed to qualify. Without the bear, Blanchett was silent as the grave. Nasilka had made an effort. When she'd been kneeling in the mud with a sword held near her neck and an elf had been trussing her up with grim efficiency, she said, "That bear is one of my men. I demand that you treat him with the I demand that you treat him with the courtesy due to a prisoner of war." Now that had gone over about as well as you'd expect, but at least she'd seen bear, helmet, and weapons vanish into a sack together, so that was something. Leave no soldier behind, after all. They hadn't been killed on the spot, and that was also something. She was pretty sure the goblins were considered generally too incompetent to pull off something like this. Yeah, pretty sure. Fairly sure, anyway. Reasonably hopeful. She told them the kid was a wizard. She wasn't sure if they'd listened. Probably not. They'd whisked the girl away somewhere, and realistically, the three enemies of the state standing in the town full of bodies, having just clubbed one of the last survivors, were not the most credible of witnesses. They had been removed from the village and dropped in a sheep pasture about a half-mile distant. Somebody had set up a tent, and she could smell a fire burning on the other side of the hedgerow. A silent elf with a crossbow was standing guard. "Do you speak this language?" he had asked. He had asked probably the same question 3 other times, in what sounded like 3 other languages, but Nasilka didn't know any of them. She was interested to note that it was not the language the human had spoken, so perhaps the races did not have that much contact at all. "Yes," she said. Murray nodded. Blanchette stared into the distance. "Good. I am very angry. If you attempt to escape, I will be very glad to kill you. Do you understand me?" They nodded. "We didn't do it," said Murray hopelessly. "You will have a chance to speak to Captain Finchbones in your defence," said the elf, and then walked 5 feet away and became communicative as a stone. "Oh, we're boned," said Murray glumly. "Yep. Think we can escape?" "No. If the kid does the thing, then we will break our necks trying to get to her, most likely, if we don't get trampled by them, unless it doesn't work on elves." She looked at their captor. His hair was perfect. Just perfect. You could braid enough coup markers in that hair to account for a small berserker nation. They sat in the sheep pasture, and they watched the sun crawl across the sky. Nasilka tried to engage Blanchette. "Blanchette, can you hear the bear?" No response. Oh, great grim gods, what if his brain is melted? What if this is what drives him over the edge? Sorry, more over the edge. "Blanchette, I want you to listen to me. The bear is on a very important mission. He's doing reconnaissance. You need to stay with me until the bear reports back. Do you understand?" He turned his head half an inch towards her, and she felt an enormous relief, captured by the enemy notwithstanding. She wiggled into a more comfortable position and leaned towards Blanchette, and that is when the elf's crossbow went click. She leaned back and addressed the sky. "Blanchette, I know you're in there. You just need to sit tight until the bear comes back, okay?" His lips moved. It might have been... Yes, Sarge. It might have been anything. The tent flap was pulled back and 2 more elves emerged. Nasilka sized them up as they approached. It was one Captain Finchbones. "One in the armour?" guessed Murray. "No," said Nasilka, who knew a bit more about command. "It's the one who looks tired." I love that. And indeed, of the 2 elves approaching, one looked exhausted. His shoulders were stooped, and his long white hair just made him look old, not ethereal. He had weary eyes. Nasilka clenched her fingers together. If you are going to be captured, and if you are a goblin soldier, this is always a possibility, it is rarely a good idea to be captured by tired people. Tired people make mistakes, and those mistakes are rarely in your favour. For every guard who dozes off or who fails to lock the prison door, you get a dozen guards who forget that they've taken the safety off the crossbow, who mistake a plea for water for an assault, or who fail to loosen the ropes before somebody's hands turn black and fall off. Tired commanders are much, much worse. Tired commanders have a tendency to want problems to just go away. Nasilka knew that she, Murray, Blanchette, and a town full of corpses added up to a colossal problem. The tired elf squatted down in the mud in front of her. He was wearing great boots, and said, "My name is Captain Finchbones." "Point to you, Sarge," muttered Murray. "Do you understand this language?" "Yes," said Nasilka. She licked dry lips and racked her brain, trying to remember vocabulary. "Most. Need you explain some words?" Finchbones nodded. I wish to make sure there are no misunderstandings. Explain to me why you were in the village. Nasilka hardly knew where to begin. We were in woods. We heard very strange noise. Should she mention Sinister Trees? If they went to his farm, they'd find the rest of the regiment. Oh, damn it. A magic noise. We had to walk to it. Why were you in the woods? Asked Finchbones. A wizard... Oh, damn, what was the word for transported? Moved us. Finchbones' eyes went up at that. A goblin wizard? No. That was all they needed to have the elves thinking that they had wizards that could dump whole regiments behind enemy lines. No, human. Why did a human wizard send you into my people's lands? Murray muttered, "Careful, Sarge," in Glibber. The elf behind him made a warning noise. Nasilka sighed. There really was no answer that was going to paint them in a good light, so she may as well be honest. At least if they were prisoners of war, there were supposed to be rules about how they were treated. In battle, ran at wizard. Her hands were tied, but she managed a vague pantomime of attack with her head and one shoulder. Finchbones nodded. Wizard moved. We moved too. Then we were in woods. Murray cleared his throat. Apparently he spoke this human dialect better than he spoke Elvish. We think he was trying to run from the battle, but he brought all of us with him. Nasilka winced a little at all of us, but presumably that could apply to 3 people as easily as 9. Finchbone shifted so that he was addressing both Murray and Nasilka. Where is this wizard now? Nasilka shook her head. Asleep? That wasn't the right word, but it was as close as she was going to get. Left wizard asleep in woods. Dead? No. Unconscious, said Murray. Finchbones nodded. Nasilka tried to explain that they'd given the wizard some water and put a blanket over him, but she wasn't sure how much of that came through, or whether Finchbones believed her. She hated not being able to speak clearly. It made her sound stupid, and people thought goblins were stupid enough already. Who is in command? I am, said Nasilka. I am. She looked helplessly at Murray. Sergeant, said Murray. Sergeant Nasilka, I am in command. She licked her lips again. I ask fairness. Treatment of soldiers, prisoners of war, said Finchbones. Nasilka nodded. So did Murray. Finchbones steepled his fingers. And yet the people you have killed were not soldiers. Did not kill people, Murray said. The village was like that already. Already dead. Days, said Nasilka. Many days dead. We only 3 goblins. She jerked her chin at Blanchett and Murray. You were found standing over a girl with a club, said Finchbones grimly. Making pancakes. Part of Nasilka was enormously gratified that the elf could see just how insane it was to make pancakes while surrounded by dead people. This was largely mitigated by the fact he thought they were her pancakes. Not us. Girl. She is a wizard, said Murray. She made the noise. Nasilka... Sorry.
Did you read the chat?
No, I was just... I've accidentally amused myself by the fact Murray is a continuity announcer in a different language.
I imagine him saying unconscious, like Bartholomew says. Bartholomew in Spaceballs.
Yes. He has no concept of tone or emphasis. It's all, no, I would like chips, thank you.
Please behold my vocabulary. Exactly.
Nasilka stared up into Finchbone's eyes, willing him to believe her. Because if he didn't, well, it was going to be unpleasant for the goblins in the short term, and it was going to be unpleasant for literally everybody else in the long term. Finchbones made a non-committal noise and stood up. I am not sure that I believe you. Nasilka sighed. Wouldn't believe either, she said. Hear magic noise, then believe. By then it will be too late, said Murray. Finchbones lifted his other eyebrow. You will be brought water, he said. Do not try to escape.
Some tea, darling.
Nasilka snorted. Where we go? There's that, said Finchbones and walked away. I'll now take a minor hydration break. That may be my favourite line in the entire novella. So the one in the armour? No, it's the one that's tired. Unconscious. Singster had found the wizard, for all the good it was doing him. He hadn't been hard to find. The Civilian had dumped Sings directly in front of the young human's campfire. It wasn't a large campfire, but it was perfectly serviceable, and the wizard was feeding it twigs and making no attempt to hide the smoke or indeed his presence in the forest. Sings could tell it was the wizard because he was still wearing the Silkus cloak. Badly cured goat hide clashed oddly with the human's military uniform. Also, the wizard's response to having a skeletal deer leap out in front of him and a bruised and whimpering elf fall off its back was to say, oh, that was it. He didn't even make eye contact with Sings. This was all very well as far as Sings was concerned, because he didn't really want someone looking at him right at that moment. He was curled around bruises that would have felled a trained warrior, let alone a veterinarian. The Civilian rattled and stamped a hoof. The wizard fed another twig to the fire. Sings dragged himself upright and said, "Oh, are you the wizard?" The wizard looked at his face briefly and then back at the fire. Yes? He sounded unsure. Did you come through it? Sings had to stop and translate mentally from the goblin tongue. A hole in the air. Yes. There were goblins with you? The wizard nodded. Lots of them. I ran away. They came with me through the hole. He gave Sings the trees a brief, determined look. I make holes. Good for you, said Sings. Are you injured? No. The goblins said you were unconscious. The wizard nodded again. Lots of them came through the hole. They were very heavy. Sings realized this was all the explanation he was going to make. My name is Singster. My name is John. I live here in the woods, a few miles away. John was silent for so long that Singster started thinking of another question, but then the wizard seemed to realize that something else was expected of him. I live in the village. Elliot's Cross? He looked worried. Sing said, That's a nice place, and the wizard visibly relaxed. Poor soul, he's trying. Folks like this shouldn't be in wars, even if they are good at it. Were you trying to get back there? Yes, but lots of them came through the hole. He furrowed his brow. Sings had an impression not so much of lack of intelligence, but of lack of ability to communicate. When too many go through the hole won't go far. I understand. I think, said Sings. Elliot's Cross is what the humans call their village, isn't it? He was trying to escape the battle and go back home, but when the goblins fell through, he only got part way there, and it took so much energy it knocked him out. Makes sense, I guess, as much as anything with magic makes sense. There's some very strange magic happening in the woods around here, said Sings. It attracted the civilian. He nodded to the stag. It rattled. Okay. Again, that inquiring lift at the end of the word. John darted a look at the elf's face again. Is he asking questions? He doesn't seem hostile. He just seems confused. It isn't me, said the wizard. Not a question this time. It's bad magic, said Sings. It is? He met the elf's eyes with an expression of naked entreaty. It reminded Sings for a moment of a troll. All good nature and confusion. And then Sings had it. And his heart broke a little for this man because he realised that's what he was asking. He knows he's supposed to react somehow when I tell him these things, and he doesn't know the right thing to say. This poor, baffled soul. Worst case of magic I've seen in a while, and if Nasilka's right and he's able to kill people with that blue stuff as well as make holes, then nobody's getting too close to him to teach him what's normal. It's killing people, said Sings. It's bad. We don't like it. The wizard nodded once firmly as if committing this to memory. Sorry, he said after a moment. I get confused. That's okay, said Sings. If I tell you about the magic, can you tell me if you know anything about it? Yes, sir. He lowered his head slightly and pulled the goblin cloak tight around his shoulders. Sings to Trees had the feeling that no one had ever listened to him so intently in his entire life. The forest itself seemed to quiet down out of respect for the intensity of the young wizard's concentration. It's some kind of sound. It's as if you can almost hear a conversation, but you can't make out the words. It makes you try to get closer, no matter who's in the way. People run towards it from miles. In fact, he stopped there, because John had sat bolt upright. Some of the vagueness vanished from his face, replaced with dawning horror. It's Lizabeth, he said, and it was clear he knew exactly what he felt about that. That's her power, she makes the voice. Lizabeth. Now Sings to Trees was the one who didn't know how to feel about something. Who's that? My sister, said John. We have to find her, sir. He didn't look vague at all now, just very worried and very determined. It's very important that we find her at once, sir, before something terrible happens. And we'll leave it there for tonight.
Dun, dun, dun.
I am never less than astonished by Ursula's ability to Tokyo drift into an entirely different genre.
How so?
Often chapter by chapter. The stuff with Murray and...
I know, people are like, wait, you're done? Wait, no, come back!
The stuff with Murray and Nasilka and Blanchett and Finchbones is who's on first.
It's kind of... Okay, this is how old I am. It's very Hogan's Heroes.
Yes.
To me. It's very Schultz. It's the tired, put upon commander who's kind of relying on the goodwill of the soldiers.
And also the kind of very rapid fire dialogue. It's a bit that Community does an awful lot. And it's really, really good fun. And then to go directly from there to this actually kind of lovely, really frightened young man suddenly going, oh God, I think my sister's done something terrible. And it chills you.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. All right, folks, we're going to take a bit of a break. We will be back in a little bit. Remember, we use a countdown timer, so if you don't see the timer, you'll have at least 60 seconds. Please get up, get a stretch, get a drink of water, attend to any medications or pets or snacks that you need to. We have a lengthy shenanigan this evening, so please don't think you're going to power through. Get up and take a stretch, and then we will come back for some lighthearted fun.
Wendy, don't worry, I made extensive...
Hey everybody, welcome
Hey, y'all.
back. How you doing? Is everybody okay?
We good?
We good? All right, let's get ready for shenanigans. There we go.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Are you being southern? Going
Yes.
y'all? Okay, there we go. Right.
Y'all, mint juleps. I hop.
Hello to both of the raids who've joined us. Thank you so much.
Hello, raids.
Hello, raids. One of them said moss, the best of moss. I don't know why we're talking about moss. But
Moss is cool, though.
Moss is cool. I dig on moss. Double screen shenanigans. Yes, because we have a pretty lengthy story for tonight, so Alistair and I are both going to be reading away. Ooh, pardon me for the yawn. It's getting late here in the UK. So, shall we kick it off here?
We just jump straight on in. Do you want me to do the summary and the notes?
Nah, I'll do it. 365 Daily Affirmations for Healing and Positive Thinking by Serene Fire. And so, we'll skip the notes in the summary for now and just dig right into it. February 9th, 2018. You gave him... Melanie chokes the rest of her sentence into her fist. Martin just squirms down further in his plastic fold-out chair in the center of all the Institute employees squashed into the conference room and stares directly at their boss. Catch! Ugh! Their boss,
Prop comedy.
who has donned an honest-to-God sailor's captain's hat and is brandishing a book entitled 365 Daily Affirmations for Healing and Positive Thinking. Peter Lucas smiles across the crowd.
Welcome, all employees of the Magnus Institute, to the first reading of a daily affirmation to begin our workday.
He waves the orange and pink and purple cover around the conference room for dramatic effect. No one applauds. Rosie, politely, yawns. What does he mean, the first day? Melanie hisses at Martin. Peter Lucas does not lose any bounce in his step. He cracks open the book, flipping through the front pages.
I have Martin Blackwood to thank for this gift, an early Valentine's Day present for the boss. To the rest of you, it's not too late. And I also take world's #1 boss mugs.
Martin slides further down in his chair as all members of Artifact Storage glower at him. He's the reason they're all stuck here. 8 in the goddamn morning on a Friday.
Please, Martin.
Martin mumbles into his palm, to Peter Lucas or the eye, whichever one will kill him first.
Please just read the daily affirmation and let us go. Melanie, this is the last straw. I am finding a way to quit this job.
Peter Lucas clears his throat and starts to read.
February 9th.
He begins. Why did you even give Peter that in the first place? Melanie murmurs. Martin glumly beholds his boss as an aura of fog sweeps around him, preparing to daily affirm the crowd. No one else can see the lonely surrounding them, not even the manuscripts and rare books division. This is fine.
I lost a bet. February 9th.
Peter Lucas repeats.
A daily affirmation for the soul. Wonderful. What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. And what you imagine, you create.
The collected employees hold their breath. Melanie even lings in, hanging on to the end of the affirmation. Martin stops blinking. This is it. This is over. They can all go back to their jobs in this temple to the eye, maybe relax and record some statements and not think about how this place was crawling with their flesh like just 2 months ago. Peter Lucas snaps the daily affirmations book shut.
Ooh, what a good one for today. This reminds me of the value of self-affirmation. Did I ever tell you about my first Valentine's Day at the Institute?
Melanie presses 2 fingers against the bridge of her nose. I hope someone finishes a ritual and kills us all. I will literally let any entity do it. The dark can come and take me. It's fine.
He can't be continuing this.
Martin whispers, almost to himself.
It has to be over. He read the affirmation. He has to let us go.
Fog sweeps across the room. Peter Lucas smiles, lost in memory.
It was Valentine's.
February 14th, 2004.
Huh.
Elias tells him, his hair sticking up in so many directions and his skin whiter than the tablecloth Peter had thrown a rosé over last night.
You're not supposed to be here.
15 minutes before this, Peter Lucas wakes up on a sofa in the basement of the Magnus Institute, completely hungover. His captain's hat lies on the floor, squashed by a muddy boot print. And there's Chardonnay on his suit jacket. He reaches around the dark room, flipping a light switch to reveal the smallest break room he's had the displeasure of visiting. The room, which consists of this sofa and a microwave on a table, smells of mothballs and the spiral. Peter picks up his hat, dusts off the boot print, and sticks it back on his head, standing up very, very slowly and reaching for the lonely. The lonely, repelled by his Chardonnay-soaked shirt, does not answer.
Fine.
Peter grumbles.
Find my way home myself.
And he stumbles up the stairs from the archives to the rest of the civilized institute. The crumpled invitation falls out of his pocket. Last night, Peter attended a very normal Valentine's Eve fundraiser for benefactors of the Magnus Institute to wine and dine. And wine and wine and throw wine at. Peter isn't thinking about that. By the time Peter realizes he's walked up too many stairs, he's on the top floor and staring at the door to the office of Elias Bouchard. And really, there's nowhere else to go but in. Elias slowly peels himself off his desk, on which he has not been sleeping. His stapler has left a huge red mark in the center of his forehead, and Jonah Magnus's gray eyes are bloodshot.
Ugh.
The several hundred-year-old conduit of beholding groans.
You're not supposed to be here.
Peter invites himself into the room and sits down in the guest chair.
Rough night?
He guesses.
You were there?
Elias says, leaning back and starting to button his collared shirt again, matching the wrong buttons as he does. His shirt is also stained in Chardonnay.
Chardonnay.
Interesting. Peter will try to keep this as civil as he can.
James, as a benefactor of your institute, I'm not James anymore.
The effect of Elias saying this is somewhat undercut by the fact that he squashed his face onto the desk again.
You know this. Fine, Elias. As a benefactor of your institute, we can't keep...
Finding the lone backgammon desk in the main entry hall after the professional guests had gone at home at 11 o'clock, betting something grand and extravagant on a game of backgammon, losing said game of backgammon, being cheated from winning the rematch of backgammon, upending a pâté from the buffet line in retaliation, throwing Pinot Noir and missing, throwing Chardonnay and hitting.
Interacting like this. I'm not the one bound by my God to stay 3 meters apart from all people at all times. Your aversion to me seems like your problem.
Elias shrugs on his vest over his failure of a buttoned shirt.
I meant if Gertrude knew you acted in a manner unbecoming of a head of the Institute, she'd raise enough fuss with the board to kick you out. I don't want you to have to find a new home for those eyes quite yet. And why ever not? Do you have plans for this home? Do you have plans for my eyes?
Elias works a dark silk tie back around his throat. When Peter's brain catches up with Elias's words, they both pause for a moment. Elias scowls and clarifies.
You wouldn't dare use me for the Lonely's ritual. Don't test me,
Peter says.
Who says I wouldn't just depose you? I can find where you keep the rest of your body. Oh, you and Gertrude, I'm sure.
Elias eases his coat jacket on and looks every picture of the stark, imposing head of the Magnus Institute 6 seconds away from upchucking into the garbage bin.
Let's make one thing clear, Elias Bouchard.
Peter said.
At no point will I gamble with you again. At no point will you rig the backgammon table using dice from Salisa. At no point will I hand over half my fortune to you because you've rigged the bloody backgammon table. And at no point will our mutual understanding deviate from being a cool, calculated, professional partnership. Because...
Elias prods, and Peter can see the familiar flash of James Wright in his eyes.
Because I hate you.
Peter Lucas says.
And nothing you do will stand in the way of me giving the world to the lonely. And nothing you do will prevent me from sacrificing the world to the beholding.
Counters Elias.
May the best man win.
February 10th, 2018. May the best man win? What the absolute hell does that mean? Georgie hiccups, clearing her throat. Martin shrugs. He can feel red patches forming on his cheeks and neck. Bright neon signs telling the world that his liver has been overextended this Saturday evening.
And that wasn't even the end of Peter's story.
He says.
Because he's a shit storyteller. I swear. Statement givers off the street have more coherent narratives. He kept pausing before mentioning Elias, like he couldn't mention what his name was. Melanie, you tell her about the rest.
Melanie considers. She's stone cold sober. After the stranger's ritual and Tim died and John, well, after the stranger's ritual, the thing that kept Melanie icy cold and on the edge and good at taking down rituals also made her able to consume any amount of alcohol without flinching. Lucas ended and I would like to remind you 1.5 hour morning meeting with a winded description of biting wind chill on his way back to his ships from someone in service of the lonely. He sure likes talking to people about it.
But only in large groups.
Martin counters.
And only apparently when I'm at fault for starting the conversation. Fuck me, right?
The Admiral crawls out from under the couch and stretches over Martin's lap, and suddenly he doesn't feel so bad about earning the personal ire of several hundred people.
Good kitty.
He tells it as he runs his fingers through the Admiral's fluffy hair. Georgie refills her wine glass. She and Melody share the sofa, and as the night, well, late afternoon, has evolved, she's migrating more of her limbs into Melanie's side of the sofa and onto Melanie herself. Melanie, who Martin remembers vividly as the one archives employee who pulled a fucking gun on the raw meat scuttling into the Institute at Christmas without breaking a sweat, leans back into Georgie's shoulder. We can't let that happen again, Melanie says, muffled by Georgie's hair. We will never stop another ritual if we have to spend multiple hours listening to Peter Lucas bore everyone to death every day. Martin takes a sip of his rum and lime. There's a stray cat hair in there, and the Admiral does not look reticent enough for the crime of shedding into his glass.
There are 365 affirmations. I bought him a book with 365 affirmations that all sound like they're copied off a Pinterest board. He's going to find a story about each one, isn't he?
This isn't all your fault, Georgie says. This is all his fault, Melanie tells her.
Hey, get fucked.
Martin says. Well, okay, Georgie says. Maybe it was initially Martin's fault, but we can't change the narrative. What would I do if I fucked something up at my job?
Oh, hey, don't you record a podcast by yourself in your bedroom closet?
Martin finishes his drink. Tomorrow is going to be quite the hangover.
How do you fuck that up?
Melanie turns to her. She starts ticking off her fingers. I knew a couple, like when your RSS feed got fucked up and published 17 copies of one episode, or hey, I know, the one time you thirst tweeted Ryan Bergara. Georgie's now practically sitting on Melanie's lap. Don't remind me, she says, fighting a smile. I briefly trended in the UK for that one. And lost Casper Mattresses as a sponsor. But, Martin, don't worry about it. It all worked out in the end. Martin frowns.
What did Ryan Bergara do?
Oh, nothing. I doubt he even noticed. But HelloFresh saw it and contacted me about sponsorship, and the rest of the internet forgot about it pretty quickly. Also, I'm literally incapable of feeling fear, so it didn't daunt me. Anyways.
Wait, you're incapable of feeling fear?
Anyways, if we get Peter Lucas to stop reading daily affirmations, everyone will forget about this pretty soon.
That's the problem.
Martin groans.
It's an entire year of them in the book. If he's only reading them on the weekdays, that's more than a year.
Check the official Magnus group chat, Melanie interrupts. He recorded a voicemail for today. No attached story, but still, it will only take 1 calendar year because he's going to do this every day.
I'm fucked.
Okay, Georgie says suddenly. What if we stole the book of daily affirmations? He keeps it in his office, yeah? Melanie nudges Martin with her toe. You can just sneak in and get it on Monday.
Well,
He's usually not in his office, right? He's just... Georgie waves her hand around, wine sloshing it miraculously, staying inside her glass. Fucking around on the lonely.
well, that's true.
Martin says. He's very drunk, and it's hard to strategize, but Georgie does make a good point.
However, I can't just walk into his office while he's not there. Rosie's right outside his door and she schedules all of his appointments.
Melanie and Georgie nod together, and their hands are laced together by Georgie's side. Martin feels a rush of warmth to his heart. Melanie and Georgie here together, and he is alone. John is unresponsive in a hospital bed, and Martin is here, feeling like he's missed a piece of his life that he will never be able to replace, but still here. You'll have to have a reason to go into his office, Melanie says.
We don't know each other.
Go ahead.
He sometimes asks me how to update his iPhone, but he comes into the archives to do that. Usually just pops into existence right behind my desk.
Georgie breaks out into a huge grin. Oh, I've got an idea. What? Melanie says, squeezing her hand.
What?
Martin says, dreading what the next couple of words are going to be. Georgia holds out her hand, placatingly. Hear me out.
No, Martin says. I will not.
Valentine's Day is on Wednesday.
That's not a good start, Martin says. That's not a good start to your idea.
Rosie will probably let you into the office when Peter isn't there if you're delivering a surprise gift to him. A Valentine's Day gift?
Georgie, I am not buying Peter Lucas a Valentine's Day gift.
Why not? It would work! And added bonus is that Rosie will tell half a dozen people in the cafeteria at lunch, who will tell another half dozen, etc., until the entire institute regards you not as the person who made their lives miserable that one morning, only as the person who gave a Valentine's Day present to your boss. She tips her wine glass at him and finishes it in one swallow, like she's cracked the code.
Yes, Martin grinds his teeth. You see, therein lies the problem.
Melanie, thankfully sober, pieces together an actual plan. What if you delivered a present on behalf of someone else? Then you'd just be hapless Martin, who plays the romantic messenger for his boss.
I can negotiate the hapless label, thank you, but that seems somewhat less of a terrible thing to be known for. Martin agrees, but who the fuck would send Peter Lucas something for Valentine's Day?
Georgie gets another terrible, horrible, no good, very bad smile on her face.
Oh, God. No, you wouldn't.
Martin says, standing up and preparing to bolt out the front door. No, you wouldn't, Melanie says, as if in awe of her girlfriend. I see you two already know where I'm going with this. What fucking if we sent Captain Peter Lucas flowers from his well-known enemy, a man who cannot deliver them himself on account of that he is in prison. Someone Peter Lucas described to both of you as the man he hates, our old boss, Elias.
February 12th, 2018.
So, the florist asks gently, bundling up the huge bouquet. Are these flowers for you too? Martin still has to be physically dragged into the flower shop by Melanie, and mournfully looks back at the street as it disappears from view. Georgie follows, unperturbed by this display of regret, wrapping a lovely sunflower scarf she purchased at the charity shop next door around her girlfriend's neck.
No. Martin is hissing at Melanie under his breath. No, I think I'm literally about to die.
Martin, if you would rather we bought the pink Ferrero Rocher spread on sale at Wilco.
Right, okay, flowers, let's do this.
But there are really, truly too many different flowers to choose. I like the violets, Georgie says. They smell great.
The £20 a bouquet, the archives don't pay me that much. Does HelloFresh pay you that much?
Georgie is still rubbing her eyes, shooing the last of her hangover away. It's been a full 48 hours since the late afternoon soiree, and she and Martin are still slightly queasy. Must have been the Admiral's hair that all ended up in the Captain Morgan. Melanie, of course, is as blasé as ever. All right then, Georgie says, adjusting her heart-shaped sunglasses. Get the white roses. Martin squints at the selection of flowers.
Why not red roses?
I'm glad you agree, Melanie says, selecting a handful of red roses. See? This plan is going to be fine. She turns to high-five Georgie and laces their fingers together. Martin takes the L and the flowers.
That's the line. Can't believe I'm invested in this bad plan. Maybe I'll take a white rose too. It could balance out the colours.
I'm colorblind, Georgie says, handing him a white rose. But that sounds like a plan, champ. Martin takes another minute to look over the dwindling supplies of the florist shop 2 days before Valentine's. He considers, picks a couple more flowers that create symmetry in the bouquet, and sweet Jesus, he doesn't have to justify this to himself.
These do smell extremely good,
He tells Georgie. She's turned away from him and is deciding between a bundle of marigolds or buttercups from Melanie. I see. This whole plan was to get me to drive you to the shop so you can buy your own Valentine's Day presents. I think that was supposed to be Martin's line.
And say, I see. This whole plan was to get me to drive you to the shop so you could buy your own Valentine's Day presents. Is that it?
You're the only one with a car, Melanie says in lieu of an apology. Georgie takes the marigolds, even though it's a camper van with broken windows. Martin takes his time to pick one more flower, one more very flower, not to be wasted on Peter Lucas, and leaves them to buy gifts for each other as he cues. For a second, he almost feels normal, in line with other customers purchasing a gift for their significant other, celebrating the joy of finding someone and loving them. Martin is here, sans significant other, preparing to steal something he gave to his boss in order to cut down on work meetings. Yeah, that checks out. When he presents his bouquet to the florist, the woman smiles at his choice. Lovely selection, she tells him. Are these ones? And these ones are on sale. Georgie elbows him and says, frugal and a catch. Who could do better? I think that is me. That's wonderful to hear. The florist rings up his bouquet and produces a blank card to tie around the stems. So are these flowers for you too? Martin's tongue sticks in his throat. How is she supposed to tell the florist that he and Georgie Baker, the famous podcast host with a cult following, are not dating? Melanie waves her marigolds at the florist. Oh, I'm with the lady. I see, the florist says. So who should I address these flowers to? Martin can't seem to get the words out. This was unequivocally a bad idea. Georgie gives Martin one last wicked smile. Right to Peter Lucas from Elias Bouchard. This was a really terribly awful, extremely bad idea. And it is definitely going to end with Martin's death.
February 13th, 2018.
Just put the flowers in Peter's office. Just put the flowers in Peter's office. Just put the flowers in Peter's office. It's not that hard. Just walk by Rosie and put them in Peter's office. Martin snaps some of the stems of the comedically enormous bouquet as he walks up to Rosie's desk. He stares too long at her desk before she catches his eye. She has a couple of cards decorated in glitter on display and 2 wilting balloons floating at the ceiling above her. Next to the jar of mints for visitors, there are a handful of peonies in a glass of water. Rosie has so many suitors, all of which are so thoughtful as to give her presents for tomorrow's holiday. Martin, of course, has been given no gifts. And the one he is about to deliver is, well... Rosie smiles wide at him. What's the occasion, Marto? The boss isn't in right now. Okay, there's no way Martin's going to be jealous of Rosie. Not when she's pushing the jar of mints at him encouragingly. She deserves her suitors.
He ruffles his bouquet. Just delivering these.
Oh, good luck on your Valentine's Day aspirations. I wish you the best. Here, take a mint. It's around the moment that Martin gracefully accepts a mint that Rosie realizes to whom, exactly, Martin has Valentine's aspirations. Martin's mouth is dry again and his throat feels weak. Oh, God, this is the worst case scenario. Rosie thinks Martin is crushing on their boss. Just tell her they're not from him. Rosie says, just tell her they're not from him. Martin croaks out, another rose stem snapping in his grip. He can't do it. He can't tell her they're not from him. Rosie recovers from the shock admirably. Good. Hey, good luck with that. I hope he says yes. Martin pops a mint in his mouth to avoid the red spots flushing up his neck.
Definitely. So I need to go.
He points at Peter Lucas's door. All yours. Rosie gives him 2 large thumbs up, and somehow this makes Martin feel worse. This is for a purpose, he tells himself. This is to save all Magnus Institute employees from suffering under daily affirmations for the foreseeable future. He's come too far to give up now. Martin enters his boss's office and immediately comes face to face with a giant painted portrait of Elias Bouchard on the far wall, leering at him. The back of his neck prickles.
Oh, stop fucking staring at me, Martin tells it. This is justified. This is justified.
The portrait, as usual, says nothing. But as Martin turns around the room, its eyes are still on him. Creepy. Without a glass of water, Martin? Jesus.
Good
Without
Lord.
a glass
Good
of water
Lord,
to
Blackwood.
stick the flowers in, he places the bouquet on its side on Peter's desk. Whenever Peter gets tired of chillaxing in the lonely, he can discover this and react to however one does when he's been catfished. By then, Martin will be long gone with the book. Speaking of the book, Martin catches a flash of orange and pecan purple, the gaudiest cover imaginable, on the shelf next to 27 encyclopedias and tax ledgers from the 1950s. He does not see the spider scuttling away under the bookshelf. He moves without thinking, grabbing the 365 daily affirmations for healing and positive thinking and shoving it into his inner vest pocket next to the one violet he purchased, the flower he's saving for later. Success. He will figure out a plan to dispose of the book later, but for now, he just has to leave the office. The icy portrait of Elias still glares at him, and the eyes seem to have moved. They now stare down at the book with the full weight of their grey pupils. Martin flips the portrait of Elias Bouchard off.
Stop. Stop being such a fucking creepy painting. Or a creepy fucking office. This is just...
He brandishes the book.
It's just a stupid book, right? Go back to being normal.
As he goes to tuck it back into his pocket, the book cover falls open. Martin's mouth falls open with it.
Oh, you have got to be fucking with me.
On the inner cover is inscribed in a dark red script. It's not blood. It's not blood. It cannot be blood. From the library of Jorgen Leitner. All right. Change of plans. Martin's figuring out the plan to dispose of the book now, and will involve taking it immediately to the Cult of the Lightless Flame and burning it to a crisp.
February 14th, 2018.
Elias Bouchard has sorted his paperwork into the respective piles when the deputy inspector opens the door to the visitation room. If Elias hadn't glanced through every eye on Peter's journey here, from Rosie to the taxi driver to the deputy inspector herself, he might be surprised by this visit. Peter Lucas removes his captain's hat as he sits in the chair across the glass from Elias. Elias slowly picks up the phone on his side of the glass and waits for Peter to do the same.
You know, Peter begins, I read an affirmation last week about self-actualization. Which one of our gods do you think actualized this interaction?
Elias's eyes ache.
Neither.
He replies, pinching the bridge of his nose.
If I had to wager a guess, I would say the mother of spiders. But of course I wouldn't wager a guess. I already have one wager outstanding with you, and I wouldn't do anything to jeopardize my win. You wouldn't do anything to jeopardize your win? That's a new excuse, given that you...
Peter shakes the bunch of wilted flowers in emphasis. The pain spreads further through Elias's head. This is not the eye's doing. The pain is simply caused by having to occupy the same space as this man for more than a passing second. Infuriated.
Like I said, this is the mother of spiders doing.
Peter sits back on his cold prison chair.
The web bought me a bouquet from you and placed it in my office. Elias, are you implying that Miss Kane brought these flowers in through the front doors and up several levels and left them in a guarded room? Peter, if you truly walked in here today under the impression that I had sent those to you for this holiday, then I won't even dignify you by updating you on this official institute business.
Elias gestures at the neat stack of paperwork, which is duplicated and signed in triplicate.
Of course you didn't, but it wasn't part of your ploy. If it wasn't part of your ploy, it wouldn't have happened. What's the paperwork?
Elias has ensnared him now. Time to tighten the hook and reel in the line.
Just this. You need to work harder on upholding your end of our gamble, Peter. With your current course of action, not one of my employees will be tempted toward your god. Luckily for you, I am levelling the playing field, giving you a way out of this frankly embarrassing blunder with your meetings and your team building.
He lifts one copy of the documents, flips through the pages, eyes Peter idly. Peter crushes a rose in his hand and sorts through the leaves.
Paperwork, Elias. Then I will get back to stealing your temple to the eye out from under you. Oh, one last thing.
Elias says, poised to slide the documents through the slot in the glass.
I need to hear you say it again. Say it again.
Peter frowns.
What you told me when we created our gamble. I want to hear those words again.
Peter's expression clears up.
Who knew? Jonah Magnus. A sentimentalist. Sure, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Elias Bouchard, it's lonelier with you than without you.
Satisfaction hums through Elias, and he slides the documents to Peter. Peter takes them, flips through them, pauses.
What are these?
Elias grins from ear to ear, savoring the look on Peter's face and the dying flowers on the table.
Why, Peter, they're divorce papers.
February 15th, 2018.
And then
Martin is chuckling to himself.
Jude actually answers the number I dialed, told me if I called her again Manuela's in the area would be happy to kill me, and hung up because she was my only supernatural contact outside the Institute. Do not ask how I got her number. I thought I was going to have to keep a lightener in my flat.
He looks back at the hospital bed, and John doesn't move, doesn't even seem to breathe. He lays there under the thin covers, as pale and as still as he was when Martin rushed him into the emergency ward in August. Martin reaches down and squeezes John's hand.
But, Martin says, I did get a text from an unknown number half an hour later telling me to drop the book off at an address in Surrey. Google Maps says it's the site of an industrial furnace too, so the lightener of daily affirmations is now on its way, never to terrorise us again.
Okay, chat. You have to make me a lightener of
the lightener of daily affirmations.
It is required. I need it. Oh, crap, I lost my place.
Silence the room.
Okay. The silence of the room is only broken by the slow beeps of the heart monitor. Martin clasps John's hand again.
Not sure what the point of that book was, to be honest. Something to do with remembering the past? Planning for the future? Annoying your employees until a few of them prepare for revenge on Valentine's Day? I wonder if there's any chance Lightner collected normal books as well as fear ones. Maybe he just wanted to read himself some daily affirmations.
Is it just in Martin's head? Or does John exhale more forcefully than that? Did he unconsciously register Martin's attempt at comedy?
Oh, almost forgot. I know I'm a day late, but...
Martin reaches into his inner vest pocket for the last surprise he was keeping. One violet, crumpled in the journeys he's taken, but still a brilliant deep purple. He places the violet on the side table, on top of the IV line strung there.
Happy Valentine's Day, John.
As Martin leaves the room, checking one last time to ensure he's left nothing out of place, he brushes past a man in the hospital lobby. If Martin had looked back, he would have seen this man walk into John's room and close the door.
February 15th, 2018.
Later, John wakes up. In the bleariness of returning to life, he smells the strangest thing. Among the antiseptic of the hospital, there is a flower. He opens his eyes, and his dreams and all of her speech melt away from his consciousness. There is still one memory that hangs poignant in his mind. John croaks, throat dry.
Martin, you gave a lightener to the desolation?
Notes. When the TMA Wiki told me that John wakes up on the day after Valentine's Day, I knew I had to write about it. The overarching plot in this fic is inspired by Alistair Stewart's TikToks, in which he, as Peter Lucas, gives daily affirmations to Martin and the rest of the Archives crew. As far as I know, the specific book of daily affirmations I use does not exist in reality. Oh, that was delightful.
And that's our show.
I was trying to find the calendar. Give me the calendar really quick. Does it have... Hang on, I'll grab it. Does it have a horrible pink and purple
It
calendar?
actually kind of does.
Oh, no. I don't know if I kept the cover. Let me take a look. Some of these are horrible shades of pink and blue and purple. Should we read some? It's been a while. What is today? June 23rd. Here we go. Oh my gosh, we're so behind. If you realize that all things change, there is nothing you will try to hold on to. God, that's a Peter one. Oi!
If you do not go left, you will go right.
Oh gosh. These are so bad. Take pride in refusing to take credits for the achievements of others. These are so the Sphinx straight out of Miracle Man.
Why do I have melons on my feet? I don't remember asking you to do that.
Exactly. Chicken soup for the soul, but the for the soul part is printed in the price tag. Fantastic. I should put the link to the shenanigan in the chat again. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, folks.
That was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was.
Should we do some more of these joint read ones?
Yes,
in
we
the
should.
Future? I think that sounds really good. So, if you have suggestions for potential... Oh my gosh, there's a tag! There's a tag inspired by Alistair Stewart's TikToks! I'm clicking on the tag! Oh, there's only the one story. Damn! Oh! Catfishing your boss to save the world? Oh, no. There's only the one. Okay, I need more. Inspired by Alistair Stewart's TikToks. Fanfic. Tagged like that on AO3, please. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. How disappointing, but still. Oh, there's like 22 comments. Can we read some of the comments?
Let's read some of the comments.
We should read some of the comments. Hang on a second. Most of these are, thank you. Martin takes the L and the flowers. You don't understand. I'm obsessed. That was such a good line. Such a good line. There's so many comments here. I can't read it all. But yes, this is glorious. Oh my gosh. I love this all so much. I may not have a Twitter, but am I ever glad I regularly check Alistair's Twitter, or I had never known about this glorious piece of beautiful absurdity. Bravo. And thanks for all the laughs. Yes, that's fantastic. I'm not reading any names. But yeah, there's some fantastic comments.
I agree completely that Pissy Drunk Martin is best Martin.
Pissy Drunk Martin is very good.
Martin just being really fucking annoyed about the podcast. Like, oh, how much does HelloFresh pay you?
I know. Oh, fake laugh hiding real pain, right? Oh, several comments are just, oh. No, this was really good. I enjoyed this. All right, everybody. I think that is our show.
Thank you so much, folks. You can find us again on Sunday when we will be playing Space Van.
Are we?
Haven.
How is that Space Man?
Space Van.
Space van is definitely.
in which we play two amiable idiots living in a space van.
Trying to learn how to cook and not succeeding.
Yes.
But now we know how to eat food on the ground! That is an improvement, apparently.
Drunk
It was a
with
skill
power.
we had to learn! Oh my god. Anyway, space camping, yes, very much.
There'll be more space camping on Sunday.
There'll be more space
Between 10 and 12 British Standard Time. And then join us back here on Wednesday for Not a Hallucination, Not a Dream, the final installment of 9 Goblins.
Yes, exactly.
In the interim, our Hugo-nominated Pop Culture newsletter, The Full Lid, will go live on Friday.
I like it when you say R. That makes me
Well, it is
happy.
our.
It is R.
And there'll be sign-up details in the show notes. Likewise, if you like the show and you can afford it, toss a coin to your streamers. Oh, value of plenty.
Really? Just a matter of
Like we're not about to rewatch The Witcher in preparation for Witcher 2 Witch Harder.
Yes, we are, and yes, we are, and yeah, mostly. Okay, you have to go. Is it the Wii music?
Well, I'll tag it onto the stream.
There's a fantastic fan dub of The Witcher.
It's 3 minutes of
Hello. It's just Geralt and Gaskier being idiots. It's adorable.
What you looking for? Silence.
Blessed silence.
Don't much go in for that.
Yeah, I know. God, he's such a gobshite. It's adorable.
Geralt, it's one of your friends.
Run away. Exactly. It's really cute.
Also, if you can find it, and again, if I remember, I'll reply to the stream notes with it. There was a mercifully brief attempt to do a Witcher bake-off YouTube thread, which is mostly just Joey Beatty failing to understand concepts like bowls and utensils.
I think that was right when COVID started.
Yes.
He did that, and bless his heart.
At one point, he's stirring cake batter with a cucumber.
Yeah, that got weird.
Yes.
And I feel bad for whoever had to actually clean.
Oh,
his
Joseph.
house
I hope he gets his hat this season.
Yes. Yes.
I
want Dijkstra.
That's very good. Where's my fucking money?
Exactly. Dijkstra and what's the dwarf guy's name that starts with a Z?
Zoltan.
And Regis, Geralt's true boyfriend.
Well, to the best of my knowledge, Christopher Eccleston hasn't been cast as Regis yet, and that has to happen. Likewise, Zoltan clearly needs to be Nick Frost.
Yeah, but then you're gonna have to do the whole John Rhys Davies dwarf thing, and it gets time. Gets tired.
Frosty's got time and dwarf roles, my dude. He's done it before. He did the gritty Snow White with Kristen Stewart a few years ago. He said it was dead easy. They just had us in troughs. Yeah, he said honestly, he was literally like, no, we just walked along in a ditch. It was great.
We just walked along in a ditch. Adorable. Okay, well, there we go. That sounds good. I love Regis. Regis is one of my favorite characters from all of The Witcher. I am not someone who likes either of the love interests in the games because they don't deserve him. They do not deserve my murder marshmallow.
Thank you, Doc Pond. Joey's Great Witcher Bake Off is in the chat.
Excellent. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. It is, yes. Yes. Tucky just happened to have that ready, huh? Well done. All right. You have been with us for almost 2 hours. It's been a very long stream, but have a lovely evening. Don't forget to check out the EA Twitter account in just a little bit.
There will be show notes.
There will be show notes. And we will see some of you on Sunday, and the rest of you on Wednesday night.
Have a good one, everybody.
Good night.